All right. What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View Podcast. And we are live today. Welcome back. Another Tuesday. It seems like the NFL, they just love doing trades on Tuesday.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
this is the third week in a row. We have another trade, I believe. We had Amari Cooper. You know, it's funny because we had the Amari Cooper trade, then we had Devontae Adams. And
Mm-hmm.
then the week afterwards, we got DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs. And then now we have Deontay Johnson. Interesting what's
If
going
you're
on
a
in the
receiver
NFL.
and your name starts with D B word, you might get traded soon.
Mm. It's such an interesting thing that's going on in the AFC when it comes to wide receivers moving to teams with historically good quarterbacks. Josh Allen, he was able to get Amari Cooper. Pat Mahomes was able to get DeAndre Hopkins, Aaron Rodgers, although we already know he's washed, but he was able to get Devontae Adams. And now the Baltimore Ravens are adding to their receiving core, and they're getting Deontay Johnson. So I like the move. I really do. I think Deontay Johnson is a very talented receiver. I think he can add to this receiving core, even though I thought that the Ravens receiving core was actually pretty good. They're actually been doing a lot better. But you could always add to the receiving core. Rashad Bateman is not always the most trustworthy receiver in the world. He has been playing a lot better this year, but you know, at times he could be a bit inconsistent. Zay Flowers is a tremendous receiver. I don't know how this is going to impact him, but he's a tremendous receiver, and I like his growth. He's gotten a lot better this year compared to last year. And Deontay Johnson, he's a route running guy. He's a guy that can, you know, he can get open, he can catch passes. Um, my thing with Deontay Johnson is that I feel like with the Ravens, they need a guy that can just catch 50-50 balls. Lamar, he can throw it up, jump ball situation, and like a DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like the Ravens could have used a DeAndre Hopkins because I feel like he adds something that they're missing with their passing attack. I think with Deontay Johnson, he's a good receiver, don't get me wrong, but does he really add a different element to this passing attack that they were missing? What is your thoughts on that? And what how do you feel about this trade overall for the Ravens? And then, I mean, we could talk a little bit about the Panthers as well, but let's just focus on the Ravens right now.
Um, I mean, obviously, I like the trade for the Ravens. I mean, they essentially got a very solid receiver for pretty much next to nothing. Essentially, like a fifth round pick.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I think they clearly won the deal. The Panthers got fleeced, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, you got to get what you can get. Um, But for the Ravens, I like to do it just because you just can't have enough weapons, especially in the AFC. I don't think their offense was really the side they should have focused on in regards to trying to get a trade done. But then again, if you ever need to get in a shootout, I'd rather rely on Deontay Johnson and like a guy like Rashad Bateman, as we seen in that Browns game, dropped the easy pass. I mean, it was literally
Hmm.
you couldn't like literally right there, and he just dropped it. So I mean, I like to trade for him. I think this. I'm not sure this really puts them into like Super Bowl favorite category just yet, but I think it's a good addition to the offense. Just makes them a little more dynamic as far as okay, now we got another guy to worry about. So yeah, it's still the offense still going to be run through Derrick Henry and Lamar and Zay Flowers still going to be the number one guys. I'm assuming so. Yeah, just more weapons to play with that Todd Monken gets to play with.
Do you feel like does this really add anything to the passing game? Like, does it significantly improve the passing game? Because I feel like with the Ravens, like they don't have a whole lot of size with their receiving core. It's a lot of guys that are like 5'10", 5'11". Like a DeAndre Hopkins, he's a legit like 6'1", 6'2", prototypical wide receiver, jump ball wide receiver that can block. I feel like they need more receivers that can block. And with Deontay Johnson, can he bring that to the table? I don't think so. So he can help this passing attack because he can get open, but there's certain things about a receiver that can add to this Ravens core that Deontay Johnson just doesn't have. I feel like the fact that they rely so heavily on the running attack of Derrick Henry and also Lamar Jackson's legs, wouldn't you want a receiver that's good at blocking?
I mean, yeah, but at this point, I mean, we're really going to go to get a guy like that that was actually available to be traded. So it
DeAndre
kind of just
Hopkins. Maybe
well,
DeAndre Hopkins. And
but
they were
then
just like,
they probably saw his age and was like, I know we already got 30-year-old Derrick Henry. We don't want, we already got Mark Andrews and Derrick and DeAndre Hopkins is hurt guy. So they probably like, can we really depend on him on the later stretches of the season once we really get into the AFC North matchups? They don't play the Steelers until after week 10. So, that's probably what went into it. Deontay Johnson has been hurt guy in the past, but he's been relatively healthy this year. So maybe that's the way they were looking at it.
but my thing is like from a culture aspect as well. Like, does he have that right mindset for the Ravens culture? Because the Ravens, they you know they want certain type of guy. They want a certain like with the Steelers. You want certain type of dudes that are gonna buy in. And can Deontay Johnson buy in? Because we've seen in the past he's been a bit of a head case with some of his teams, like with the Panthers and with the really the Steelers. We saw with the Steelers what he was doing. Uh, I just don't know, man. Like it's to me, I feel like although DeAndre Hopkins is a lot older, I think what he brings to the table would have benefited more to the Ravens, in my opinion. And I think because he's been in big games before, he has one of the best hands in NFL history. Think about this because we've seen a lot of these Ravens receivers drop pass doesn't drop passes the most. DeAndre Hopkins, man, he would have been so good for this Ravens team, but they just decided, nah, we're not going to go after him. I just feel like it was a wasted opportunity. He would have been an amazing addition for the Ravens. I feel like he would fit the culture a lot better. I feel like he's a guy that would buy in to a team like the Ravens. He doesn't seem like in this stage of career he doesn't care so much about numbers. It seems like he really just wants to win. Deontay Johnson, on the other hand, I'm not going to say he doesn't care about winning, but he's probably looking around like, hey, I want to get my money too. I want to get my money too, and I just don't see it, man. It's a risk to me. It really is a risk because at the end of the day, will he buy in? Is my question. Will he buy into what the Ravens are doing? And I don't know.
I mean, he probably playing with Lamar and all them guys. I mean, shoot,
That's true.
I would.
That's true.
Shoot, this is a
But
true competitive, competing team, So, I mean, he
you're
already got
right.
his
You're right.
money. Well, actually, no, he didn't. I think he's a free
Uh,
agent after this year, so he didn't
yeah,
get his money
yeah,
yet.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see, but
I think it'll be all right. I'm just
he
thinking
does
like,
help the passing attack.
yes, exactly. And I do think I'm not saying the Ravens are done making moves, but I just feel like the defense was a bigger issue. The offense was pretty good in my opinion as it was. Zay
Mhm.
Flowers was really playing like a true number one receiver. Mark Andrews coming along as the season progressed. Derrick Henry still Derrick Henry. I feel like the offense was great. It's just the defensive side of the ball. I mean, in order to beat Pat Mahomes, you got to be able to you got to be able to put pressure on him. And the way the Ravens D line is playing,
Not good.
they really not doing. They're not really getting much pressure in that part. That's why Jameis Winston was able to sit back there and carve him up Sunday. So and cornerback is starting to become an issue because Marlon Humphrey get hurt and Nate Wiggins hurt. It's like who they
Mhm.
really got, what they really got going on out there. So I don't know. I feel like they should address defensive side of the ball first. But you can never have too many weapons in this league.
No, you can't. You can't. And I mean, I understand. I understand it, but at the end of the day, like in my opinion, like DeAndre Hopkins, just he would have fit the culture a lot better
I
than
I feel
Deontay
like this
Johnson.
is a feel like this is a ceiling move. It didn't really make them much better floor wise. It's just
Mhm.
like if
No.
everything works the way it's supposed to, they would just get better. Their peak would get better.
Yeah, and then maybe it's more so for the future as well. Maybe they're looking at it like, hey, he could be our wide receiver of the future. We can put him alongside of Zay Flowers, depending on
And yeah,
how good he
true.
is this season.
And
So
also
maybe they're
maybe
looking
they
at it
wanted to
from that
get
perspective.
maybe they didn't want to run as much 12 personnel because a lot of times you see Likely and Andrews on the field and they'd be running routes. So maybe they was like, listen, we want to get more 11 personnel in there, just one with one tight end in these packages and sets. So who knows what Todd Monken was envisioning with this offense?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, you're also right about the pass rushing. It's just not that good. You're not going to beat Patrick Mahomes with subpar pass rushing. And we talked about it last week about just how I'm looking at this Ravens team. I'm like, the time is now. Like the window is now. But with the way that they looked against the Browns this previous Sunday, I might be back with you on this one. I know I'm flip flopping, but dude, like you cannot beat Patrick Mahomes with subpar pass rush play. And I think with this team, the secondary has been very inconsistent this year, but it boils down to the pass rush, in my opinion. I think if they can get consistent pass rush play, then the back end will be just fine. But the fact that the pass rush play hasn't been good, and then you're pretty much putting your corners on an island by themselves. Like they have to like you're giving the quarterback on the opposing team more time in the pocket to do whatever they want, which is going to put your cornerbacks in a tough spot. So they're like 19th in pass rush win rate right now, which is a little bit worse than middle of the pack. They need to improve that a lot. The fact that the Patriots, the Chiefs were able to trade with the Patriots for a pass rusher. The Chiefs, they already have a good defense, and they're still adding to their defense right now. It just
Wait,
lets
who
you
did they
know that
trade?
they Josh what's his name,
Uchi? Is it Uchi?
Uche,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who that is.
Yeah, like
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're actually they have a good defense, but they're still adding to the defense because they're not satisfied, and that's what winning teams do. And I feel like with the Ravens, yeah, yeah, obviously, your receiving core. I feel like they're looking at it like, all right, we're gonna go all in to the offense because we believe Lamar Jackson could lead us. Dog, the reason y'all lost is because Lamar Jackson couldn't get it done. Y'all had the arguably the best defense in the NFL, and they did their job. Lamar Jackson couldn't do his job. I just think it's a risk, man. Like the Ravens, they need to do something in the trade deadline. They got to get a pass rusher. They have to do something because right now it's just not enough. You have the picks. What are you waiting for? Like you got to go all in. You got to put your chips in the table right now because if not, Lamar Jackson's going to be ringless yet again. He's gonna go to the AFC Championship game and he's gonna lose to the Chiefs. Do we really want
Mm.
to see that again? I don't want to see it. I'm tired of seeing Lamar come up short every single time because the defense is getting gashed because they're not able to rush the passer, or they're not able to stop the run, or the corners and the safeties aren't able to cover down the field, or Lamar Jackson, for whatever reason, he forgets that, hey, you can utilize your legs instead of standing in the pocket. I don't want to see that anymore. I finally want Lamar Jackson and this Ravens team to put it all together and go to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, because he's so talented. He's about to be, if everything goes right, a 3-time MVP without a Super Bowl ring. You can't let that happen. Like you have to take advantage of it now. That's just me.
Yeah.
Um Also, I'm trying to think. There was something else. Something else happened. Oh, so today also the Colts benched Anthony Richardson, and they are going to start Joe Flacco this week. Um, I forget who they play, but I think their record right now. I think they're 4-4. They're still in the race for the division. I think this was the right move Anthony Richardson just hasn't played well. Look, like Brian, let me tell you something. I'm looking at these stats from the
They play
Texans
the
game.
Vikings.
They play the Vikings. They're definitely going to need. Yeah, I don't want Anthony Richardson to play the Vikings. I'm looking at these stats against the Texans. Anthony Richardson completed 10 of 32 passes for 175 yards. He only had one passing touchdown, and he threw an interception. And he was sacked 5 times. I don't know about you, but that's horrendous. You're not going to win football games with 10 completions on 32 attempts. And then he took himself out of the game when it was in the fourth quarter. Like, you're in the game, it's crunch time, and you take yourself out of the game. You talk about, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm running too much. Like, dude, you're the quarterback, man. Like, you're the leader of the football team, and you're taking yourself out. You know how crazy that is? I've never heard of that before. It's the first time I've ever seen a quarterback just take himself out of the game because he was tired. That's insane to me. What was your reaction to that? Hearing Anthony Richardson explain that he took himself out of the game because he was tired.
Absolute foolishness. I mean, come on now. You're supposed to be the franchise QB, and you already sliding on thin ice with your play. Now you taking yourself out the game because you're tired. Everybody on that field at that time of the game is tired. Everybody. From the linemen to the receivers to the corners to the D linemen to the linebacker state, everyone's tired. That is a horrible excuse. And especially with a QB, it's not like you're running every play. I think he had like two back-to-back runs and he wanted to take himself out the game. Buddy,
6 rushing
no.
attempts.
Like what are we talking about here? And honestly, I think that is one of the main reasons that led to his benching outside of him playing like garbage. Because how you going like it's definitely I guarantee because I know how we all know how NFL locker rooms get. I bet you I'm willing to bet money that someone was like, this dude, we supposed to come out here and fight for you every week and you subbing yourself out because you're tired? That probably
Yeah.
didn't sit well with the locker room. So they was like, this dude already playing like garbage, and now he want to take himself out the game. Nah, I ain't rocking with that. So I'm pretty sure the coaches read the sentiment around the law was okay. We got to do something because we're gonna lose the team at this rate. Might as well do it while you're still in it, I suppose, than having to everything just crumbles down by continuing to play
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson. But but as far as the benching itself, I mean, is anyone really surprised? Everyone was like, "This is a project player," and no one was really expecting him to be good. Well, people that watched film and wasn't being blinded
Yeah.
by combine uh, performances, but yeah, I was like, he wasn't good in Florida. Like, I don't understand. People was trying to gas him. Oh, he could be Josh Allen. I'm like, oh, brother, here we go. And we said it when he got drafted. I said, Josh Allen is going to get a lot of GMs in trouble because they're going to think they can build and mold these projects, and it's just not going to work. Like the man is struggling with Shane Steichen. I think he might be a lost cause. I know it's only 10 games into his career, but I mean, dang.
Where's the growth? Where's the growth? What has he improved at? Like, seriously, there's honestly, like, yes, he's had a limited number of starts, but what game can you point to where you say, man, he really improved on this flaw that he had coming out of college? I don't see it. I don't see no improvement. I don't see no flash besides his running. That's the concern. So I was looking at this post on Twitter that talked about the quarterbacks, the young quarterbacks that have been benched. Pretty much, they've had a short leash. They talked about how Anthony Richardson is 22, he got benched. Bryce Young, 23, he got benched. Trey Lance, 24, he got benched. Justin Fields, 25, benched. Will Levis, 25, benched. Zach Wilson, 25, benched. Mac Jones, 26, benched. Kenny Pickett, 26, benched. And the whole argument is that the NFL has a QB development problem. Here's my thing. I agree with that sentiment and that the NFL does have a QB development problem because what happens is these organizations, they don't look at their QB and say, hey, They're not ready yet. So maybe, just maybe, we should sit them down for a year or sit them down until the end of the season because they're Anthony Richardson. He's a raw prospect. He's just not ready from a mental standpoint and from a fundamental standpoint to start on a consistent basis. So why not bring in a veteran QB that's been around the league, that can compete against your rookie QB, meaning you're in training camp and your rookie QB is going to have to play really, really well if they're going to be able to succeed that veteran QB. But nah, this is what these organizations want to do. They want to bring in a QB that's not going to test their rookie QB. They want to bring in a QB that's not going to challenge their rookie QB because they want to do everything they can to start their rookie QB as fast as possible. And that's how you make mistakes. That's how you get bust QBs because these organizations are impatient. They don't want to put in the work in order to make sure that these QBs succeed. And that's why you get a Zach Wilson. That's why you get all these bust as QBs because they don't do their job effectively. They're not patient enough. And that boils down to the ownership. The ownership, they're the ones responsible for it. It's not the GM, it's not the scouts, it's the ownership because they're putting so much money. They want to sell tickets, and that's all they really care about, the bottom line, which is the money. And that's the problem. That is really the problem. If you don't have a surefire prospect that's ready to play right away, like a Jaden Daniels, like a Caleb Williams, you shouldn't be starting your QB early because they're just not up here. They're not ready yet. And that's fine. Patrick Mahomes was not ready yet his first year in the league. And look at him. He's the best quarterback we've ever seen, in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers as well. These QBs are just not ready yet. And these organizations just time after time after time just keep making the same mistakes because of greed, because of money. And it's just nasty work. With Trey Lance,
that was
that's
a
a
little
different
different.
story.
That's a different because the
He's
Niners
just
had
a
literally
lost.
everything in place. Yeah,
That was he was just a lost cause. Like he did it to himself because everything
he
was
shouldn't have
there.
been
He
drafted that
sat
high in
for a
the first
year.
place.
No. He barely had any reps in college. Like that was just the Niners screwing up. But Anthony Richardson, dog, like they should have sat him down for a year. They should have brought it. Matter of fact, they did. They brought in Gardner Minshew. But they didn't feel
We
like, hey, let's start Gardner Minshew instead of Anthony Richardson. They just decided to put Anthony Richardson in the fire. He got injured, and now we're in this predicament. And now he's going on the bench.
Yeah, I got a stat for you in regards to Anthony Richardson. It says Anthony Richardson ranks 222nd in completion rate, 50% among the 225 QBs with 250 plus dropbacks since the year 2000. And I'm gonna list some notable names of dudes he is behind in completion percentage. All right, so we got Ryan Leaf,
Mm.
Jamarcus Russell, Curtis Painter, Ryan Lindley. I don't even have you heard of some of these dudes. He's just one spot above Tim Tebow. So let me tell you something. That is some horrible company to be in. Because all of them dudes ain't last long in the league.
Mm.
So hey man, unless he gonna learn to start running routes and stuff or play running back, yeah, it ain't looking too
I
good for
know. Yeah.
Anthony Richardson.
Let me tell you something. I know exactly who Ryan Lindley is. He played for the Arizona Cardinals, and he was, in my opinion, one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play football in the NFL. Like ever start an NFL game, and he was god awful. He was their third QB on the Cardinals, and my God, I remember he started a playoff game. I think it was against the Panthers, maybe, and he was horrible. He was absolutely abysmal. This is the year Carson Palmer had an MVP caliber season, but he got injured when they were like undefeated.
Oh,
I think it was, and he came, and then I think they put in I forgot who the QB was, but the backup they had was pretty solid. But then that backup got hurt too, so they had to put in Ryan Lindley, and that dude was god awful. And the fact Anthony Richardson is in conversations with that dude, that means he is hot garbage, beyond saving. I'm looking at man. Let me. I'm looking at just all the passing stats right now. Um, Anthony Richardson is 27th in QBR. He is 32nd in passer rating. My God, he's behind Bryce Young and Mason Rudolph and Will Levis and Spencer Rattler and Tyler Huntley,
Mm.
Skylar Thompson, Aiden O'Connell, Deshaun Watson. He's behind all those dudes. He is that bad, ladies and gentlemen. He is a horrible QB, and he seems like a good dude, just off of the interviews I've seen. But my God, there comes a time where it don't matter if you're a good dude or not. You got to perform, or else the organization gonna look at you like, it might be time to invest in another QB. And right now, it's just not looking too good. He is a bust. He's looking like a bust right now. I don't see how it gets
You
better
know,
from here.
me either. But you know what the best they wouldn't be in this situation if they just did right by Andrew Luck. They let him get killed behind that O line for years, and look, Andrew Luck would have been one of the best QBs in the league. But all you had to do was protect him for a few years. Couldn't even do that.
Yep. One of the biggest what if stories in
Yeah.
NFL history is what if the Colts didn't, because by the time they got an offensive line, Andrew Luck was already beat up. He was on like his last legs. Like it was literally his last year that they finally got an offensive line, and they finally got a competent offensive minded coach in Frank Steichen before he got exposed. And then he retired the next year. It's really unfortunate because the
You mean
Colts
Greek,
had
right?
a Frank Wright. I said Frank Steichen. Why did Eagles ties? I
Yeah.
could I combine I combined them. I fused them together
Hmm.
like it was Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, man. Frank Wright. He was a competent offensive minded coach before he had his little things, whatever. And he unfortunately he went to the Panthers and then had his little stint there. But regardless, they had a great succession plan, but the organization failed them, and now they're in QB purgatory for the future right now. So, all right. Um, Unfortunate news: Stephon Diggs, he will be out for the season, torn ACL. Boy, former Maryland alum. It's unfortunate to see that. He was playing well for the Texans. He was a great leader for the Texans team. They were without Nico Collins. Nico Collins I think he's coming back this week off of IR. But man, he was really good for that Texans team. And the fact that he's going to be out, it really hurts. It really going to hurt this passing games. They're going to have to really rely more on Tank Dell, the Robert Woods. He's going to be probably inserted, and Nico Collins. So really going back to how it was the previous season. But dog, the fact that you lose Stephon Diggs, he would have made a whole lot of a difference in the playoffs. Albeit the offensive line still stinks. Bobby Slowick is a bit questionable sometimes with the play calling. Man, just losing a guy like Stephon Diggs, it just hurts a lot for that offense. What was your reaction to Stephon Diggs being out for the season now?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like LeBron in that interview here, but once I saw the replay and how his knee like broke, I said, yeah, he's done. Uh, it's unfortunate because the Texans really wanted to make a deep playoff run. They had the roster, or at least the offensive weapons to do it. I'm not saying it still can't happen, but you know how that goes. But yeah, that's a big hit. Especially with at least Nico Collins will be back supposedly this week. So you lose one next man up. You know how the league is. But I think the Texans should still be all right. They should still be very competitive. Tank Dell's no slouch. We all know the type of season he had last year before he got hurt. And yeah, Nico Collins, still Nico Collins. I saw John Mechie come into the game and make some plays as well once Diggs went down. So yeah, I think they should still be pretty solid. I don't think we'll ever see the Diggs versus Diggs matchup though. because it just every time it's just some foolishness happens. Last year,
Yeah.
Trey Diggs tore his ACL. Didn't get to see that matchup against the Bills. Now this year, his brother tears his ACL. Ain't that something?
Sad day. Sad day for Diggs people, the Diggs family, because it would have been great to see. But unfortunately, we're not going to see it. We're going to have to wait another year. Well, actually, not another year. I don't even think the Cowboys will play the Texans next year. It's an unfortunate reality of just the fact that both Diggs, Stephon, Trayvon, they're not going to be able to play against one another. And we're not going to be able to see the full potential of this Texans offense this year with the addition of Stephon Diggs. So they're still
Yeah,
going to be well. They still have a good receiving core. Stephon Diggs was more of a luxury than really a need. So they'll be fine. It's always going to boil down to that offensive line at the end of the day. Can they protect Jay Stroud? Because right now they've been awful this year against my Packers. They were awful. Uh, Against the Colts, they were pretty bad. So that's really what it's going to boil down to. As long as they can run the football effectively with Joe Mixon, I think they have a really, really good chance. But yeah, the offensive line is a huge question mark. But at least the defense is really, really good. The pass rushing has been outstanding for them. So that can really prevail them to possibly get to a championship game. You never know. But man, that just really hurts to not see Stephon Diggs and the potential of this offense at the end of the day.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really all I can really say on that matter. Let's get to the games. Let's react to the games. We are reacting to week 8 of the NFL season. Let's get it started. We got to start off with the game of just the week itself, the Sunday matchup that had everybody going crazy. The Bears versus the
Mhm.
Commanders. The Hail Mary play by Jaden Daniels. Just a Cinderella story, man. I said this 2 months ago. I said this is going to be reminiscent of 2012 when it comes to the Washington Commanders franchise. I just looked at the way that the team is built, the fact that they're bringing in a QB that's just hyped up as Jaden Daniels is. I was like, man, this team they're gonna do some things this year, and to see them 6-2 after 8 weeks, I didn't see this coming. I knew they were gonna
Nope.
be good. I knew they were gonna be competitive, but 6-2, Brian, you can't lie. You got to be surprised right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I expect them to be 6-2, one of the top teams in the NFC period, let alone the NFC East. At this point of the season, I was like, hey, 8 wins for them is a successful season. But shoot, they blowing my expectations out the water. I know it's a lot of football left to be played, and God forbid anything drastic happens. But they're playing good ball. I can't even hate on them. It seems like this is what happens when an org is trying to take their team seriously and they go out and get guys. Regardless of what the fans may think of them, they put a competent roster together, especially on offense. People was bragging on him. I'm sure I'm guilty of it. Over the offseason, oh, so you got Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, you got them boys playing. He got them boys playing, especially the defense, especially overachieving. They started off very bad in the beginning, but they turned into a decent unit over the course of the year. So, hey man, I can't even hate. I just gotta can't even hate on them.
Bend but not break type of defense, which is
Yeah,
good with the
exactly.
talent
Right.
that they don't have a whole lot of talent, and the fact that
But
it's a middle of the pack defense is a success in my book.
yeah, exactly. And especially this year one of the rebuilding that it's good. It's gonna be some wars in the NFCs between them and the Eagles going forward. Because we all know
And
them
you know, and you
Cowboys and
know,
Giants ain't on nothing.
yeah, yeah, if you're a Commanders fan, good news, your second round pick, your D tackle, he looked really good. Their D tackle, he looked
Jazon
really
Newton,
good. Like,
yeah,
yeah, man. Like, you lose Jonathan Allen, you plug him in, he makes a lot of plays.
yeah,
That's a great sign because I think he was the second rated tackle coming out of the draft. And the fact that he comes in and he makes a difference for that team, it seems like getting rid of Riverboat Ron and bringing in Dan Quinn, it seems like the scouting department, it seems like the GM and everything like that, when it comes to picking prospects, they know what they're doing. They're signing the right players in free agency. And it's not like they were signing the most talented players in free agency. They signed guys that
It was just
fit
plugging
the
gaps.
system.
Yeah.
Yes. They signed guys that fit the system, that understand the role. Yeah, they're not the most talented players in the world, but they just fit. They're not just there because of name recognition, because he had a great year last year in this system, but does he fit the system that you're trying to build for this team? In the past, the Washington Commanders, what would they do? They would just trade for guys, trade for a star corner or a receiver. Oh, because
Josh Norman.
they were so good. Even though Deshaun Jackson fits in any system, but yeah, Josh Norman. Oh, because he was so great with the Panthers, even though he's more of a zone corner and he doesn't really fit what you're trying to do, or he just got exposed. Like, that's the thing. But it seems like now they're being a lot smarter in who they sign, who they trade for, who they draft. That it's paying off. They're getting the right head coaches to develop these players. Jaden Daniels is a perfect example of it. Getting Cliff Kingsbury. We were a bit skeptical about Cliff Kingsbury, but I did say that Jaden Daniels, his skill set would fit with Cliff Kingsbury, and it has so far. And he's been the best offensive player. It's debatable between Malik Neighbors and him, but I would say I would give the edge to Jaden Daniels for the fact that he's played in every single game. Well, mostly every single game because he got hurt last game. Regardless, he's been tremendous. He's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he looks like he's been a top 10 QB this season so far. So, on the other side note, we got to talk about the Chicago Bears, because I have to say this. The fall off is coming. That was the beginning of the fall off. Let me tell you, and I'm not talking about J. Cole. I'm talking about falling off. The Bears are going to fall off this season. That game, mark my words, is the beginning of what we will see as a colossal fall from grace from the Chicago Bears, because they, at that point, were 4-2. Now they're 4-3. Mark my words, by the end of the season, I guarantee you the Chicago Bears will only win 7 games. They are going to win 3 more. They'll win 3 games at best from this point on. Look at their schedule. It doesn't get any easier. Now, Arizona Cardinals, they can win that game, but after that, it doesn't get easier. Maybe they can beat Seattle, but besides that, good luck, because you have the NFC North. You got the Packers twice. You have the Lions twice. You have the Vikings twice. And they obviously, I said Seattle. They have Arizona, and I may be missing another team. But those are the teams that they're going to have to face. Those are the teams they're going to have to face. And I'm telling you right now, I don't see no more than 3 more wins for them. And if they only win 7 games, guess who's going to get fired? Matt Eberflus.
They got San Francisco too.
Oh my God, San Francisco too, and Christian McCaffrey is going to be back by then. They're cooked. Shane Waldron. We were people were applauding him for that game against the Jaguars in London where Caleb Williams threw for 4 touchdowns. Let me tell you something right now. By the end of the season, we're going to be looking at Shane Waldron like, this guy should not be calling plays anymore. He should not be an offensive coordinator for no other team, because what transpired against the Commanders was a disgrace. A disgrace. Commanders don't even have a good defense. Like, they're a bend but don't break defense. Yeah, they played a lot better, but dog, come on. You got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. Come on, bruh. And you can't. I think Caleb Did he even have 100 passing yards?
Yeah, he did.
He had 100. I bet it was barely though. I bet it was barely. He was struggling. He was resorting back to week 1 and week 2 of the season, bruh. It was so bad. Did you remember that play? I think it was either second or third down, and he was trying to throw the ball to Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen's like right across from him. He was on the left side of the field, and for whatever reason,
He
Caleb
sailed it
Williams
out of
just
bounds.
he
Yeah.
sailed it out of bounds. I'm like, what is going on? And when I saw that, I was like, the Bears better be careful because they could break Caleb Williams. I'm dead serious. We saw this with the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence. If the Bears are not careful, Caleb Williams could end up in the same predicament as Trevor Lawrence because Caleb Williams, all that progress that he made, he resorted back to week 1 and week 2. Well, I wouldn't say week 1, but week 2 in some cases. He was inaccurate. He just looked uncomfortable. And part of that is the play calling. Part of that is bad coaching. The Bears, this is why they're the Bears. This is why they can never get the QB right. It's because of stuff like this. They have the wrong coaching and they draft these QBs and they expect them to be Superman. They expect them to make all the plays and overcome this and overcome that. It does not matter how talented your QB is. If the coaching is not right, if the play calling is not right, they're going to struggle. And with Shane Waldron, he has not made it easy for Caleb Williams to succeed at all so far. And this is going to continue for the rest of the season because the second half of the year is not going to get easier for them. And this offense is going to get exposed even more. The fact that you couldn't move the ball down the field against the Commanders, what do you think these other teams are? I bet these other teams are like, man, they like this is food. This is easy money. They looking at that film, they like, they got all these receivers and they can't move the ball against these guys. Bet we about to shut them down. We about to make Caleb Williams see ghost out there because the offense is just, there's nothing creative about it. There's nothing innovative, dynamic about it. It's just bland and boring. The only reason they were able to stay in the game is because DeAndre Swift, he had that long run that resorted in a touchdown, and then late in the game, Caleb Williams he came in the clutch. I ain't gonna lie, he did his thing late in the game, but that should not happen. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
Now I did take a Hail Mary, but they should have won that game going away. I ain't gonna lie. But because of bad play calling, because of Caleb Williams resorting back to bad habits, they lost. And I'm not sad at all because they're the Chicago Bears, and I'm a Packers fan. But at the end of the day, like you got to help your quarterback out. And it just seems like the Chicago Bears, like 10 for 24 for 131 yards passing. That's just bad. Though that is his stat line from week 2 against the Texans. You can't have that. You can't do that to your rookie QB. That's supposed to be one of the more talented QBs we've ever seen come out of the draft. It's just abysmal, man. It is so disappointing. It's really disappointing. And then I'm looking at Jaden Daniels' stat. Yeah, he had 38 attempts and he only completed 21 completions, but he had 326 passing yards, and he had a touchdown, a passing touchdown. So it's completely different. He had a 92 QB, a 92, I think it was. I don't know if that's passer rating or quarterback rating, but just comparing it to Caleb
It
Williams.
was that is I'm pretty sure that's passer rating was 92,
Passer
QBR was
rating.
70.
Okay.
Yeah.
So passer rating 92.7 and Caleb Williams is 59.5. You're not going to win that way. You're not going to win. But man, shout out to Commanders. I know you're pissed off right now. I know you can't
Not
stand them.
really, actually.
Really? You're
No,
cool with
I'm
it?
actually. Listen. I'm at the point where my go hardness for the Cowboys is starting to dwindle, and I no longer have the energy to be upset or hate on teams that are actually doing the right things with the organization. I can
Okay.
dislike the fans, whatever, but the fans, I mean, they haven't really been annoying me as much, honestly. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I don't have energy to hate on them. I ain't happy for them, but I can't hate on them. But I will say this about the Bears.
Yeah.
A few things. This is mostly on the offense side. Yeah, the defense side, there was issues. They were dealing with injuries. Kyler Gordon wasn't playing and things of that nature. But it blows my mind at some of the stuff Shane Waldron was doing, especially down the stretch. I mean, seriously, I don't know what's up with these coordinators and teams waiting until they get down into dire situations to actually start doing stuff that works. Where was the tempo the entire game? And why? Like there was one play, for example, the Commanders were showing blitz, easily showing blitz, and I think the Bears were, I don't know if they were 4 out or whatever they was doing, but I was okay. I was like, there's a blitz, something should be going across the middle of the field, and the play snap, everyone just ran straight. I'm like, yo,
Was this the fourth quarter?
I don't think it was a full call. I don't know what part of the game it was. Actually, I can look it up.
Well, yeah, regardless, you're right. You're right.
It
You
was
mentioned that
it
play.
was because I complained about it in the group chat, and it was
Yeah.
like six. Actually, it wasn't the fourth quarter. It wasn't the fourth quarter because I'm like they were like it was literally anybody. If you even played 2 hours of Madden, you would be able to, okay, this is the blitz because they stacked the front, the freaking, it was like six dudes right there. And I'm like, they're easily blitzing up the middle. Come on now. And then besides, I'm used to watching the Dan Quinn defense, so I know exactly what some of these looks look like. I'm like, dog, this is a blitz. Have something going across the middle of the field. Like as Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator, you need to have counters your within your scheme. Like I know Kyle Shanahan, they may not audible much at the line. Like you don't see Brock Purdy doing a whole bunch of audibles because in the play call, there's literally checks to be okay, we have this counter if they show this, and if not, we're just gonna run whatever we got. There's nothing of that in Shane Waldron's offense. That blitz should have been like, hey, whatever you want to signal for, a slant, drag, whatever. There's no way everyone should have just been running down the field when there's 6 men running at your QB. Unacceptable. And that goal line
Mhm.
call, first of all, why are we handing the ball to the lineman at the goal line? That's some stuff you do when you up multiple scores, not when you down when you trying to come back and win the game. Are you crazy? And then
Yeah,
and
that should
then
have been
that going
fireable for him.
DJ Moore, like he was confused why they called that crap. He was like, I ain't think we was gonna call it right there. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have called it right there. That is absurd to me, man. That was such a miss. Again, I'm not taking all blame off Caleb Williams because he sailed a lot of throws, missed a lot of throws that he should make because I know he has the talent to do. But at the end of the day, his coaching ain't helping him out. I mean, seriously, it was ridiculous the amount of times I'm like, yo, what are these routes being called? Seeing dudes just run straight to run up the field and turn around. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most unimaginative play calling and route combinations I've ever seen. It's absolutely. I don't know why Shane Waldron even has a job at this point. I don't care what the record says. You gotta fire him.
So
I was like,
so
oh
you
no, we
mentioned
we 4-3. The season say no, not with that dude calling plays. Fire him. We seen it in Seattle. The Seahawks was okay. They was doing good, and then Shane Waldron happened. The teams got used to the offense, and then it was cooked. And he's a criminal. DeAndre Swift was averaging 7 yards a carry. Why were they not running the ball more?
I don't know.
Man, how many carries this dude had? He had 18 carries,
Yep.
and he was averaging
Well,
over seven.
20.
He was averaging 7 yards per carry.
I don't get it. I don't get it. You mentioned that play, right? They and the thing is that it's called hot route. It's hot routes, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
if there's a blitz, you're telling your receiver like, "Hey, I need you to change your route so we don't get any yards lost trying to get a quick quick route real quick to your receiver, and they don't do that. It seems like they don't have a hot route. They don't have hot routes for the receivers in case there's a blitz, and that's the problem because you're seeing a lot of pressure being put on Caleb Williams, and he's having to get the ball. He's running around trying to make things happen, and at the end of the day, like Shane Waldron, the play calling, it's going to hurt him at the end of the day. And this is how you break a QB. This is how you mess up a QB when you don't have a plan in case this happens. And it doesn't seem like there's much of a plan in place.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I mean, that schedule ain't getting much easier, like you said. So Godspeed. You may be able to get one on the Patriots and Cardinals, but after that, there's going to be some dog fights. Every week is going to be a dog fight. So
Yep.
Good luck. I don't know why they thought hiring Shane Waldron was a good idea. I just don't.
I don't understand why they kept Matt Eberflus. I told people like,
At least
yo,
Eberflus gets the defense ready to play. Defense played relatively well, except
bruh,
Tyreek Stevenson was doing whatever he was doing. I don't know what's wrong with him, but
he would be a great coordinator. But in terms of overseeing the entire operation, that's just not who he is because his team is not disciplined. Tyreek Stevenson is a perfect example of your team, your players not being disciplined. Like, why is he just barking with the fans? He's talking trash to the fans and not paying attention to the last play of the game. See, this is some of the stuff. There's flags being called. It's just this team, the mentality of the team is a reflection of the head coach. And it just seems like this Bears team, for whatever reason, they just don't have it. They're not mentally there yet. And in order for them to improve, they're gonna have to get rid of this coaching staff. They're gonna have to get rid of the head coach, because he's not that guy that's going to take to the promised land. And for the GM to not fire Matt Eberflus after what happened the previous season, hey, I'm not mad at it. Ryan Poles, I'm not mad at it because I'm a Packers fan. So if they want to keep doing stupid stuff, by all means, go right ahead. But it just makes no sense. Let's go to the next game. Oh, I know. Here's my thing. So just want to get to my Packers real quick. We beat the Jaguars. We barely beat them. I'm very.
I got a stat for you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you're gonna bring this up, but if I'm not mistaken, Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary, and who's the other edge rusher y'all got?
Preston Smith.
Preston Smith. I think they combined for a mere 6 pressures.
Yep.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
And I think half of them were from Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, like he had 3, I think. That's what they said.
Yeah.
We had 1 sack that game. 1 sack. Let me tell you something right now. We won the game, but you can still find flaws in a victory. And this team right now, they need to trade for a pass rusher so desperately because these guys are not it. They're not ready. Rashawn Gary is not ready. Lucas Van Ness is not ready. Like, you have to take advantage now. Like, you have to go out there and get a pass rusher. F them picks. I understand the Packers, they value picks so much, but you're trying to compete for a Super Bowl, and you're not going to beat the Detroit Lions if you don't have good pass rush play. I don't care how good the secondary is, because right now, Brian, the strength of our team is the secondary and our linebacking core. And the reason why the Jags were able to move the ball down the field on us is because one of our best safeties, Evan Williams, got out with an injury, and Quay Walker, I think he was out because of concussion. So we were missing 2 of our better defensive players that's the strength of our team. And then also Jair, he got banged up during that game as well. You're not going to win. Like, it's going to come to a point where you're going to go up against the Detroit Lions, which we're going to go up against them next week, and they're going to expose this defense because we have no pass rush. You need pass rush in order to compete against the Detroit Lions, or else you're just going to lose to them in the playoffs. You're going to lose to them in the regular season. It's not going to work. This is not a winning formula. You need a pass rush. And for whatever reason, the Packers, they just haven't made a move yet. They have to make a move. And I feel like we need to get another corner too, because outside of Jair Alexander, none of our cornerbacks are all that good. Eric Stokes is not that good. Carrington Valentine, he's mid tier, and Keyshawn Nixon is horrible. Like, we don't have any good cornerbacks besides Jair Alexander. Our safeties are amazing, but our corners are not. And we need to go out and get another corner. Like, we need to get a corner and we need to get a pass rusher. And for right now, the Packers, they just feel like, hey, we're just gonna ride it out. Like, why? It's just frustrated, man. Like, this team, I'm not sold on them. And Jordan Love, he needs to cut down on them interceptions. I understand, like, hey, you feel confident in the defense, so you feel like you could be more aggressive, but that shouldn't be an excuse to just make awful reads, like putting the ball in harm's way. I understand you trust your receivers so much, but a bad read is a bad read. And that interception that he had against the Jaguars was just a bad read. Like, the receiver was covered and you threw it anyway. The week before that game, the same exact thing. The receiver was covered. The receiver, Wicks, he did the right thing. He it's not like there was a lack of communication or anything like that. He ran the right route. It's just you didn't see the safety right there. You didn't see the safety right there. He was right in Wicks' vicinity and you threw it right to him. And it was a pick. I'm just not sold on this team yet. I'm not. We're 6-2, which is great, but until we figure out this pass rush, until Jordan Love cuts down on these interceptions, I'm not sold on this team.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair to say. You gotta, especially against when your top op is the Lions, who has one of the probably the best offensive line in the league. You got to generate pressure, and you ain't going to generate pressure. Freaking Jared Goff going to sit back there all day in the pocket and just wait for somebody to get open. And shoot, Trevor Lawrence, he was pretty much doing the same thing. I mean, he had his pick of the litter at the receiver. And he was just like, well, I'll just wait till Brian Thomas Jr. get open. And it was just like, you got to put pressure on these QBs. You can't give all these dudes this much time. And the thing I feel like the Packers defense plays to the level of competition, because when they played CJ Stroud, that was great. They played what other QB they played that I was like,
the Vikings in the second half, they were lights out against the Vikings in the second half, but that first half they got really exposed.
Exactly, yeah. Against the Cardinals, they was pretty good. It's like whoever it's like they just play up to the level, play down or play up to the competition. And it's weird. They need to just be a good defense across the board. And it just blows my mind. And like you said, Jordan Love, he got to stop with the turnovers. Like, Brett Favre ain't win a ring for a reason. I mean, no, he did win a ring. He only won one ring for a reason. He won one ring for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's because he couldn't stop turning the ball over, especially late in his career. And, buddy, no, that's just not going to cut it in today's league. No, you a gunslinger. You like to, you think you nice and all that, want to complete all the throws, but you gotta play good football, man. Sometimes you gotta live to play the next down.
Facts.
Yeah.
And
Malik Willis came in the game and closed out for y'all though, so at least I have a good backup QB.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so important to have a good backup QB. You have to invest in good backup QBs, because you never know. Like, your starting QB can go out for a few weeks, and that could be the end of your season right there. So yeah, salute to Malik Willis, salute to Matt LaFleur for getting him ready, and also Brian Gutekunst for making a trade for Malik Willis, because a lot of people were pretty much done with Malik Willis because he was on the Titans. When he got the start on the Titans, he's pretty much bad. They identified the talent, and he has been good for them so far. Here's my thing. We're gonna predict the games on Saturday, but I'm gonna say this right now: we're losing to the Lions. We're gonna be at home. I don't care if Jordan Love's starting or Malik Willis is starting. We're losing to the Lions. The Lions are gonna kick our ass. They're gonna whip our ass. It's gonna be ugly.
Is it gonna be belt?
I already expect it. Yeah, it's gonna be belt to ass. I already know it's gonna be ugly. We're banged up. Guys are hurt. I'm glad the bye week is right after this game because we need it. If I'm the Packers, I'm sitting Jordan Love. the groin injuries, soft tissue injuries, you got to be careful about that. Sit Jordan Love, get him healthy. Might want to sit Jair as well because he's been dealing with injuries as well. So you want to be cautious. It's still a long season. You lose this game, you're still in the thick of things. You're 6-3. I would just be cautious this game and live to fight another day. Now, Jordan Love, if he says, "Hey, I can play, I'm good," the groin, we're good, fine. But for me personally, I feel like he's not going to play. I feel like they're just going to go with Malik Willis because I think he's undefeated as the starting quarterback for our team. They feel confident with him. They're going to lean on Josh Jacobs. And I think the style of play could benefit the Packers a little bit. Lean on Josh Jacobs. Pretty much control the clock. I think that could help them a little bit, especially against a dynamic offense like the Detroit Lions. So I can see the benefit in that. I would be cautious with Jordan Love, though. I would really be cautious because, man, the Lions, bro. The Lions. I hate to see it, man. I hate to see the Lions win all these damn games. They deserve it, though, because they've been through a lot of just heartbreak and turmoil and stuff like that. But, my God, why did it have to be this year? Why did it have to be this year? All right.
NFL, man. I don't got anything to say about the Jaguars. I think that operation should have been blown up weeks ago.
Yeah, they're pretty much done. What can you say? The embassy is about to
About to get raided soon.
get raided soon. Yeah, that's what's really going to be once the season ends. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Let's get the games that don't really talk about, like Lions and Titans. I mean, that was a foregone conclusion once everyone saw they blew them boys out. The score was like 30 points and a half, and they didn't even have 100 yards of offense, I don't think. So I mean, yeah, Titans, y'all cooked food. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. Jared Goff, I don't even think he had 100 yards passing. He had 3 touchdowns. Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Jared Goff is playing amazing football, man. He's playing really, really
Yeah.
good football. He's been a top 5 QB this season. Salute to him, man. He's been really, really great. Let's see.
Like the Chargers and Saints. I mean,
yeah, we knew the Chargers were going to win this game. I mean, the Saints are a lost cause. Hey, Brian, what did we tell these delusional Saints fans before the season? We said, yo, it's not going to be a good season. It's going to be messy. It's going to be ugly. This is not going to be one of them years where they're going to bounce back and everything's going to be fine and dandy. Oh, they went 9-8 last year. That means they're going to be better. No, they're not. They're going to look awful. The head coach, the team doesn't respect Dennis Allen. We said it. Oh, where'd you get your sources from? Oh, you're making stuff up. No, we're not. You can see it on the field. It was reported. Stop all the nonsense. And look, behold, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. They won 2. They were 2-0. They haven't won a game since. What are they, 2-6? They're in the running for the number 1 pick. There's a lot of bad teams in the NFL right now.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, listen, we can tell these people what if they don't want to hear it, then I mean, hey, they just gonna have to find out. We all saw this. A lot of people saw the writing on the wall with these Saints here. We should be calling them the Aints because they ain't won ish in I don't know how many, in nearly 2 months. So
yeah,
congrats. You beat your Super Bowl win against the Cowboys, raised the banner. But now you are in purgatory. So have fun.
Yep.
And also when the season rolls over and next year and that salary cap gets increased, you will still be under the cap. So have fun.
God bless any QB that gets drafted to the Saints. It's gonna be an ugly experience. I know that. At least they have Chris Olave though. But it's gonna be an ugly experience. Yeah, Hey, but yeah. So Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, for whatever reason, they play well against Tampa Bay. They're a division rival. Kirk Cousins had his second best game of the season. Ooh, what do you expect? Oh, against Tampa Bay. His best game was against Tampa Bay. His second best game is against Tampa Bay. Salute to Kirk Cousins though, because I put him on the fraud watch list and he responded with
Yep.
let me look at the stats. I think he may have had either 3 or 4 touchdowns. He was
4
fantastic this game.
touchdowns. Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
Only
Man, he
6
was 3.
incompletions.
Yo, he was fantastic. The Bucs defense is atrocious. My God, like it is bad, very bad. Baker Mayfield threw 2 interceptions. He was bad. Kirk Cousins was 4 touchdowns to 0 interception. Yeah, he was tremendous, man. B. John Robinson, he only had 63 yards, but didn't really need it because again, Kirk Cousins, he was amazing. He had 276 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, and he was only sacked like 2 times. Yeah, the Falcons were
Had a
pretty good.
145 passer rating.
And guess what, Brian? Kyle Pitts, 91 yards receiving,
Touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. I mean, I know, well, stats are going to get inflated because of tight ends day, but at the same time, 91 yards is 91 yards for 2 touchdowns. So Kyle Pitts,
Oh
it
yeah.
seems like the Falcons are making a big emphasis on getting Kyle Pitts the ball, which I think they need to do in order for them to win big and win this division. So salute to them, man. Salute to them. Let's go to let's see. Carolina was it Carolina and Denver. Nah, don't really need to talk
Knew
about
that was
too
gonna
much.
happen.
Yeah, Carolina sucks. No Deontay Johnson, no Adam Thielen. So you're gonna lose that game 9 times out of 10. Bryce Young, he's a lost cause.
Yeah.
I heard Bo Nix is playing a lot better.
Yeah, he has. He had a pretty solid week.
Yeah, heard he's getting a little bit better. I don't know if as a passer he's getting better, but I know he's utilizing his legs more. That's what I've heard.
Through the air, I believe he had. Oh, wrong game. I don't know how I clicked on that one. I think I want to say he had 260, 284 through the air, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 28 for 37.
That'll win you some games. That's a great stat line for a rookie QB. That's a great stat line. Actually, for any QB, that's a great stat line. Yeah. We can move on.
Bills, Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks injured, and it's the Bills, so they ain't
Bills are a good team
like that though. But
especially Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman.
I told you, they utilizing his skill set more.
What did I say before the season? I said, listen, I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest Keon Coleman fan. Like I was really campaigning for this guy, but what I did say is that depending on where he gets drafted to, if he goes to a team that has a really good quarterback that likes to take chances, he's going to fit in well. And he went to the perfect place, and that is the Bills with Josh Allen, because he's going to take chances. He's going to throw the ball, and Keon Coleman, he's going to give Keon Coleman a chance. And that's what's going on right now. And he's getting better and better. It seems like Josh Allen is trusting him more.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see about Keon Coleman's game is that he's playing big now. Like before, he wouldn't really go up and get like that fade ball he caught in the end zone for the touchdown. Like before, he wasn't really making them kind of plays. Now he's really playing big and physical, like you would expect from someone his size, and it's really working out for him. Now he can be a reliable guy. Stuff goes bad, like, hey, I'm gonna give my guy a shot. So I'm just glad he's starting to really get those opportunities more and more. He's getting better each and every week, man. He was the second most productive wide receiver on the team. So, yeah.
And then
I actually believe he caught that jump ball on Tariq Woolen too. And Tariq Woolen, they about the same height.
He ain't no slouch. Exactly. And it was a one-handed catch too.
Yeah.
So just add the level of difficulty on that. Plus, you're going up against a top corner in Tariq Woolen, who's 6'3", 4.3 speed. That is a tough thing to do. And the fact that he was able to do it, all the praise. Great to see a young player thrive. A lot of people were doubting him. Oh, he couldn't separate. He couldn't do that. Well, DeAndre Hopkins, he couldn't separate much, but he still had he's had a productive career. So why not Keon Coleman? And he went to the right situation. I want to talk about No
This
matter,
low key, this wide receiver class is, hey man, it's pretty
it
good.
has potential. It has potential a lot. Yeah, Marvin
Yeah,
Harrison Jr. He bounced back.
Lad
Arizona
McConkey
versus
even went
Miami.
crazy this week.
Yeah, Lad McConkey, obviously Malik Neighbors, Ryan Thomas Jr. Yeah, them guys, yeah, they doing their thing. Arizona, Miami, they finally got Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball. They finally moved him around in motion, not just having him as a sacrificial X receiver. Like they're actually getting him involved in the offense. And I love it because that's how they're going to win. They're in the thick of things in the division right now. You know, they're actually number one in the division right now. Who would have thought the Arizona Cardinals being number one in the division? What? That's surprising in itself. But they did. They were able to beat the Miami Dolphins, 1 point victory. And hey, if they continue to get Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball, they're going to win football games because he's that talented. He makes so much of a difference for that passing attack, and you can't just have him be a decoy on the field because you're not going to win football games like that. And I'm glad they finally got him involved because that's how you're
Yeah,
going to win football games. Can't just rely on
totally.
James Conner to do everything and for Kyler Murray to be Superman. Like you have to get your best players the ball.
Yeah, pretty much. I do want to say this about the Dolphins though. The Dolphins offense looked much better.
Yeah,
HN
for
went
sure.
went kind of crazy this
Yep.
week, as I know at fantasy. And guess what? I still lost and still didn't make the top six. But whatever. My thing is,
Mhm.
you're the Dolphins. Everyone is healthy relatively. You got Tua back, but you're still 2-5. That was a must-win game for them last week. Where do you go from here as a Dolphins? Are you trying to work something in the trade, maybe help get some defensive guys, or maybe even trade some dudes away at this point? Because I mean, I don't know how you can salvage a 2-5 season, especially playing in the AFC, but you got the Steelers playing good ball, the obviously the Chiefs, Ravens, Texans, Bills. I mean, that's 5 teams already. And I'm pretty sure I'm missing some. So I mean, what do you really do? Where do you go? Where do you go from here?
I would trade some people for sure. You
Mm.
got that Tua contract. Yeah, it might be time to just tank, really do a semi-tank job because you're 2-5. You're in the running for the number one pick. Like I know the strength of schedule is a big thing, but dude, like you're not too far off from having the number one pick because the worst record I think is the who has one win this year. It's I forget. I don't know what team has one win this year.
It's the
The Browns just won, so it's not the Browns or the Jaguars. I don't know who has one win this year. Is it Tennessee Titans?
I think it's the Titans.
Okay, so it's the Titans. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
you're
Titans
one
are one to
game.
six.
Okay, yeah, you're one game out from the Tennessee Titans. Like they have one.
But so
Well,
was like
then
8 other teams.
yeah, so is 8 other teams. That's the crazy thing. Is like 8 other teams have only 2 wins. So, boy, you're really gonna have to lose some games. You're really gonna have to lock in on losing. But me personally, dude, it's just not worth it, man. Like you might as well just
Yeah.
cut your losses and just get ready for the next season. Tua is under contract. Tyreek Hill's under contract. Jalen Waddle's under contract. So you still have those pieces, but ultimately you're gonna have to change some things up because 2-5 is 2-5. It's not a good look, and the team is. It just seems like they're lacking something. They're lacking something defensively. Jalen Ramsey, you called him a good dude. Yeah, he is a good dude because what Marvin Harrison did to him on that one play for that touchdown 5 years ago,
Barbecue
Jalen
chicken alert.
Ramsey. Yeah, 5 years ago, I don't think Jalen Ramsey would have gave up that touchdown. So it's about time to really try to revamp this defense. And they gave Jalen Ramsey all that money, and boy oh boy, what a mistake! What a colossal mistake! And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. Let me tell you something. Let me talk to you real quick. Where can I start? I think I'm gonna go with the Browns first. See what happens when you when the worst starting quarterback in the NFL is not playing for your team right now, and you actually put in a better QB than him, you
Mm,
win a football game. And then here's another thing, because I heard this from some NFL analyst, and how the reason the offense looks so different compared to Jameis Winston starting and Joe Flacco starting is because Deshaun Watson, the way that he plays, style of play that he plays, is completely different than those two QBs. So Kevin Stefanski, he's trying to make the offense conducive to Deshaun Watson, make it comfortable for Deshaun Watson to play. And even when he does that, it just doesn't work. He's still awful. So that's why when people are like, damn, why does the offense look so much better when Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston is starting? It's because it's a completely different offense. The offense with Deshaun, that's not Kevin Stefanski's offense. But with Jameis Winston, with Joe Flacco, I guarantee you that's the offense that Kevin Stefanski pictures that he's trying to
mm.
implement. But with Deshaun Watson, he's handicapped. So for the simple fact that Jameis Winston, he had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, that is the Kevin Stefanski Browns offense that we're used to. And I'm happy for Jameis because he's been in the league for a long time. He's dealt with all these different things, and he's probably the funniest person in NFL right now. Just all these different quotes that he has during the game, after the game, is just hilarious. But yeah, man, this just looks really bad for Deshaun Watson's sake. The fact that he, the minute he's out of the game and he can't play, you plug in another quarterback and they look way better than Deshaun Watson. It's crazy. We are never going to see this again. I don't think we'll ever see this again for a while. Just a quarterback that bad where the offense looks completely different when you plug in another QB. I
Well,
don't think we're ever.
a quarterback making top QB money. Let's say that because
Okay,
Anthony
okay,
Richardson
yeah,
is happening
yeah.
right now.
Okay, yeah. Right. $230 million. Like it's just night and day difference. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Browns
So
played a heck of a game, man. I was like, hold on.
I was
I
very
was
impressed.
actually watching the game because it was the only game on in the area at 1 o'clock, I believe. I was like, hold on, the Browns playing good ball right now. I said the Ravens looking a
Hmm.
little shaky out there on defense, and lo and behold, the Browns came through. They had a super clutch second to pretty much final drive for them, and had that touchdown bomb after Cal Hamilton dropped that interception that would have sealed the game, but they came down and said we gonna get this game winning drive going, and shout out to Jameis Winston, man. He played good ball. 27 for 41 isn't the greatest completion percentage, but hey, wins and losses the only thing that he ate a W today. I say that much. And those like
So
you said, those pregame that pregame huddle video. So he said we don't got a logo. So yeah, man, salute. But for the
yeah,
Ravens, like I said, y'all,
we
you
already
got
talked
to
about
put
it.
pressure
Really.
on the QB.
Hmm.
And the Ravens D line, I'm like, they just doing whatever they want to back there. In the offense, I mean, shoot, they ain't really get Derrick Henry all involved that much. He had only 11 carries. Why? I know the Browns defense is good. They have a good D line, but I mean, it's Derrick Henry. Why is he only getting 11 carries? And he had that one big run, and
Yep.
they still didn't even want to go to him. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like Lamar, I like Lamar, but dropping back 38 times against a secondary like the Browns, I'm not a huge fan of it personally. But hey, it is what it is. As you lost the
Yeah.
game, everyone thought the Ravens had this one in the bag, and divisional football strikes again.
Trap game.
Yeah.
Just pretty much a traditional trap game. That's what it was. We already talked
And
about it before with the Deontay Johnson trade, so we don't really need to talk about it all that much
yeah.
because we already discussed it. But yeah, that's really
Speaking
what I
of
gotta say about it.
trap games, you I think you had this right. You had two games I'll give you props on. One of them
Well,
was the Chiefs and Raiders. You said you had a bad feeling, the funny feeling that this had trap game running. The Chiefs won,
yeah,
but
they
it was
did.
mighty close.
It was.
And another game, the Jets and Patriots.
I did.
That game, you was like, this game seems fishy. You picked the Jets. You said it. You said in your prediction, even though we went with the Jets. He was like, this game is very fishy. And lo and behold, the Jets did the Jets thing. Gave up a game-winning drive to Jacoby Brissett. At this point, I don't want to hear nothing about the Jets in the media. I don't want to hear nothing about Aaron Rodgers on no Pat McAfee podcast. I don't want to hear about nothing related to the Jets at this point. The hype they got over the offseason was absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when we knew Nathaniel Hackett was going to be calling plays, even though I don't think he's calling them anymore. But
Nope,
I mean, he's not even calling plays anymore. So at this point, I don't want to say it was a crazy stat. I think it was like they are the first team to lose after, I believe, having more than 250 yards of offense, no turnovers,
I
and
think they scored 20 plus
yeah,
points as
20
well.
points. Yep.
Yeah,
And they
they
was the
still
only
lost.
team, the first team to lose, first and only team. So yeah, the Jets, this franchise just might be cursed at this point because they just can't seem to do anything right. So hey,
Yeah, really.
I'm glad. I'm glad for him. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, so rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, I mean it is what it is, man. Like they put themselves in this predicament. They gave Aaron Rodgers the franchise, and now they're dying by it. Pretty much, they're dying by it. And Aaron Rodgers, he's washed. Like he's not the same Aaron Rodgers. He looks hesitant. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. They
Yeah,
signed
Rodgers.
all of these
Thing is,
players.
Rodgers didn't even play all that bad, honestly, this game. He
No,
only
he
took one
didn't. It
sack,
wasn't that bad.
had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But good Lord, man, Breece Hall, he had 4 yards. He averaged 5 yards a carry. But if you was watching, it was kind of like, is this dude washed? Like, I don't know, man. That offense is just like Gary Wilson had 113 yards. Oh my goodness, Devontae Adams had a decent game, but before then he wasn't really doing much. I don't know. The defense is just definitely regressed. I
It's
mean,
gone. It's
seriously,
done.
yeah.
Yeah,
Robert Saleh was really holding that defense together,
it
and
really was. They're
now
a lost
Sauce is
cause,
looking
man.
average.
They're a lost cause. They're
So
what are they 2-5, 2-6 right now? I mean, they're in the running for the
2-6.
number one pick. They're in the running for the number one pick. If I'm the Jets, I'm looking for a QB right now because Aaron Rodgers is not it. So hey, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, come on to the Jets because we need you. Because right now, Aaron Rodgers, he needs to retire. It's over. You had a nice run. You got yourself a Super Bowl ring, 4 MVPs. You're a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, you're one of the 5 best QBs of all time, in my opinion. Some people are going to push back on that, but that's just my opinion. You won.
This is
You did
the
your thing.
worst farewell tour of all time.
Normally you want to go out on a
You
good
ain't
note,
Tom
but
Brady.
nah, you ain't Tom
We're
Brady.
gonna give you.
You
We're
ain't
gonna give
Peyton
you the
Manning.
Paul Pierce treatment. We're gonna give you the Paul Pierce treatment. You thought you was Kobe.
You thought you was Peyton Manning. You thought you was Tom Brady. Thought you was John Elway. Nah, you not. You're not, bro. It's over. And what did I tell you, Brian? 2 years ago, I came on this podcast. Was it November or December during the season? I was like, Packers got to move on. The Packers got to move on from Aaron Rodgers.
Say that.
We got to give Jordan Love a chance. Big Aaron Rodgers fan, and he was still playing okay-ish, but not to the level that we're used to. And I was like, yo, we got to move on. And I was right.
They say that.
Ryan Kudenkus was right. Backers organization was right. And now we have Jordan Love. He's playing good football, and Aaron Rodgers is washed. So that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I want to go to the Eagles versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I changed my pick. I know I said I had the Bengals during the podcast on Saturday, but before the game, I actually changed my pick to the Eagles because one, T. Higgins is out, and I was like, you know what? That Bengals defense is pretty bad. So let me go with the Eagles on this one. And I was right. Thank God I changed my pick. And I think I finished with I think I was right on like 11 games. Because
Not bad.
I picked the Eagles, I picked the Broncos, I picked Detroit, Houston, Green Bay, Kansas City, Chargers, Buffalo, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh. So that's 11. So I got 11 right. I don't know what percentage that is. That's out of how many? Like 5, 11 and 5, I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's 73%.
Boom. Yeah. What about you? What was your record?
Hold on, let me actually do the math. 11. Wait, no, that's the wrong thing. 11 divided by 16. That's 68%. I think
Okay,
I
that's
only
good.
got
That's
like
good.
8 games right this week, and I'm
Really?
not too sure how, because I know the games I messed up on. I picked the Vikings and over the Rams. They lost.
Yeah, I was wrong
I
about that
picked
too.
the Jets. They lost.
Yeah,
I picked
I
the
was wrong about
Bengals.
that
They
too.
lost. I picked
I thought
the
you picked the Eagles.
Buccaneers. They lost.
Wait,
Did
I
I
thought you
pick the
picked the
Eagles?
Eagles. Yeah, you picked the
Did I?
Eagles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, okay. I'm tripping. I picked the Buccaneers. They lost. Picked the Dolphins. They lost. Picked the Ravens. They lost. And picked the
Picked
Bears.
the
They
Jets.
lost.
Picked the Bears.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
picked the
also
Jersey.
picked the Bears
So
too.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I went. I went
Okay.
10 and 6.
Yeah,
Okay, that's better.
yeah.
Much
Nah.
better than I thought.
I was like, there's no way you only got 8 right. You picked almost the same teams as me. All right. But yeah, real quick, Cincinnati, Philly. Yeah, Cincinnati's a lost cause. They're cooked pretty much. They're not
3
gonna
and
go
5.
anywhere. This is
Yeah.
a lost season for them. Philly, they're playing a lot better football. They are beating up on bad teams, but hey, a win is a win. 37 points against Cincinnati to 17. That's a really good game. That's a really good win. It seems like they're finding a recipe for success offensively, and the defense is playing a little bit
Yeah.
better. N'Kobe Dean and I forgot who else had a really good PFF score after this game. So they're getting it
The
together a little bit.
linebacker, I forgot his name. Actually, I can look. If I look, is it Zach Bond?
Okay. So yeah, they're playing a lot better than what they were doing 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Quinyon
Um.
Mitchell starting to strap stuff now.
Oh man, he's been doing this thing since week one, but he's
Yeah.
improving. He's really improving. And he was the best corner coming out of the draft anyway. Like this
In
was
my
kind of
opinion, he
expected.
was. I had
Yeah,
him over Tyrion Arnold. So.
some people had, Terry and Arnold, but I wanted, I think Quinyon Mitchell was better. So I mean, we both agreed on that one. But yeah, man, Cincinnati, man. Let me tell you something about Cincinnati, because this has been a colossal failure for them these past like 2 years, really, because the ownership is incredibly cheap when it comes to their players. They're not willing to give their top level talent the money that they deserve. And I was watching, there was a video of it's that offense. He was the former offensive lineman for the Bengals. He's on Amazon Prime now. Andrew Whitworth, I think his
Whitworth,
name
yeah,
is.
Whitworth, yeah.
Yeah. And he was just
He played for the
talking
Packers.
about,
Oh.
yeah. Well,
I know he
I
played
think
for the
that's what it.
Rams.
Yeah. So that is him. Yeah, he was on the Bengals before. He was an
Okay.
amazing offensive lineman for the Bengals too. He's a Pro Bowl caliber player. And then he went to the Ram. They went to the Super Bowl and all the other stuff. So he was just talking about the situation with the Bengals and the contract negotiations and everything like that, and the fact that they're just reluctant to pay their top level talent. And it seems like this is going to be a recurring theme for the Joe Burrow Bengals for the future. And I think the ownership for the Bengals is going to prevent Joe Burrow from ever winning a Super Bowl because they're not going to be willing to pay their top level talent. They're not going to be able to get just extend players when 2 years ahead of schedule. Like they're just not going to do that. And when the Bengals were winning games, when the Bengals were competing with the Chiefs, they masked just how dysfunction the Bengals have been. Like we have to remember when before Joe Burrow got drafted, nobody wanted to go to the Bengals. Like everybody was like, it's a bad situation. They're dysfunctional. Joe Burrow, if he goes to the Bengals, he's not going to succeed. Joe Burrow is so great. Jamar Chase is so great that they're able to just mask the stench of that organization. Well, right now it's starting to show itself. Right now, all of the things that have been going on in the organization, not re-signing Jesse Bates, just not improving the team, not developing a competent defense after the 2022 season, being incredibly cheap on the defensive end. It has come back to bite them in the ass. Like they just haven't improved, and the defense has heavily regressed. And Lou Anarumo, he's an amazing defensive coordinator. Well, he can't do all the stuff he wants to do schematically when you have just not the talent available. He can't do much. So, and then Zach Taylor, I've never been a fan of Zach Taylor. I think he's a mid coach at best. I think Joe Burrow is just that great that that Zach Taylor can hide behind Joe Burrow and just let Joe Burrow do whatever he wants. He's basically what Peyton Manning was back in the day when he had like these coaches that like a John Fox or the coach after Tony Dungy, like some of these coaches that were, very mid, but had great quarterbacks that they can just rely on and not have to worry about the offense too much. They're just a
Yeah,
lost cause, man.
the
That's
Bengals,
what's
yeah,
all I
they
gotta
they
say.
cook food in my opinion. I mean, that's what happens when the team gets expectations, then the front office just fumbles it. That's what happens. And now teams looking at the Bengals on the schedule, they see lunch. They not even scared. They may be scared of Burrow a little bit, but that defense, what's there to be afraid of?
They're not mentally tough. They seem like a soft football team. 2 years ago, 2021 and 2022, like they were, I wouldn't say intimidating, but when you looked at the Bengals on your schedule, you like it's gonna be a long day. You're gonna have to play some really good football because you got that dude Joe Burrow on the other side. You have that elite defense with the Bengals. You're gonna have to really play good because they're not gonna fold. But now they're food. They're soft. You look at them and you just like, yeah, they got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but they have no competent running game and the defense is soft. I'm not afraid of them at all. Um, I think this is the final game. Let's go to the actually no, I'm wrong because we have Kansas City. Real quick, Dallas, San Francisco. Um, I was about to pick Dallas, but I decided to go San Francisco. You convinced me, thank God.
Yeah,
Dallas is just a lost cause. They don't do anything well. I mean, they almost came back, but yeah, you know how it is. Dallas is
fake
Dallas. They're
comeback
not gonna
wasn't
yeah.
fooling anybody. We've seen this a few times already.
Yeah. So San Francisco, although they have been banged up, they still were able to win the game. Jordan Mason went down with another injury, but it doesn't matter because for whatever reason, the 49ers just find running backs, plug and play, and they all play well. So it doesn't matter.
Isaac
Debo
Garindo.
Samuel, he was able to get it going. George Kittle, he was able to get it going. And that's all it tells. Ricky Pearsall was able to catch some passes as well. Salute to him. He came back from that gunshot wound and now he's playing. Hey, good for him. I'm not going to speak on the whole Nick Bosa issue. I'll let the internet do that for us. It seems like a lot of people have talked about it. A very strange individual. I'll say that. A very strange individual. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get political or anything like that, but he's a very very interesting individual for all the wrong reasons. Uh,
Yeah,
but boy, Dallas. We
Let me
already
tell you
kicked them while they
something.
were down. But yeah, you go
Let me
right
tell you
ahead,
something.
man.
I'm unfortunately the Cowboys fan here, and I knew this was going to happen. I honestly thought they would have lost worse. I mean, they were losing bad, but fake comeback happened. Blah, blah. It wasn't moving anybody. This team is cooked food at this point. I don't really see how this season is supposed to get much better. I'm looking at all these teams. The Eagles are starting to get it together. The Commanders still going strong. I don't think they could be any of them dudes. Uh, and then the 49ers, this was the year to get over the 49ers because they have injuries galore. Didn't have CMC, don't have Afunga, don't have Greenlaw, don't have Debo got hurt in the middle of towards the end of the game. Brandon Ayuk towards ACL. Like, you couldn't even get past these dudes. Ain't no hope for y'all. Y'all were still doing the same crap that didn't work. Defense was still getting cooked. On defense played a little bit better than I expected him to, but I mean, there's a bunch of foolishness going on. Donovan Wilson should not be on the field at all. He needs to be on the bench. He was letting Kittle just run past him all night. It was disgusting to see. And I tell
What
you
about
what,
your guy?
every week,
What about your guy?
every week, it seems they do some stupid stuff that makes me mad. So you mean to tell me up until actually Sunday, it was all good. People said, "Oh, we hit rumblings of Dalvin Cook about to play." Blah blah. Okay, I said, "Okay, we're gonna see Rico. We're gonna see Rico and Dalvin Cook." Wrong. All of a sudden, before the game starts, oh, Dalvin Cook. I mean, not Dalvin Cook. Rico Dowdle. He's sick. He can't play. You know what I call Aaron? You know what I call on that?
What?
Bull. You know what? I ain't gonna say it, but that's what I'm calling BS. There is no way. And you want to know why? You want to know why they did this? Because they was too scared to bench Zeke. They didn't want to hurt his feelings because we drafted him so early in 2016. 2016 was 8 years ago. I don't care what Zeke.
What about your boy Mozzie Smith?
Monty Smith, he's horrible.
Zero,
It's
hey,
that simple.
zero pressures, bruh. Zero pressures. The
He,
entire
he's
season, zero
yeah,
pressures.
he's not good. That was an L draft pick. That draft class, 2023 draft classes. It's bad. The only save grace I think is Deron Bland, and he's hurt right now. So that was insane, man. Every week the Cowboys do some silly stuff, and it just upsets me. Mike McCarthy should have been fired yesterday, even before the game even started. The offense is still bad. They're not doing the stuff that works consistently enough. The amount of pre-snap motion they doing, it's not even good pre-snap motion. Like everybody think, oh, just because they do some snap motion, that means it's good. No, all motion is not created the same. A lot of times the 49ers, they will motion a guy and then hike the ball. We motion the dude, we motion CD across the field, wait for him to get set, then we run the play. They ain't really doing much. Like, okay, oh, you're identifying if it's man or zone. Who cares? Like, dude, where is the at the snap motion? That's what we need at the snap motion. You know what? Guess what percentage at the snap motion we had against the 49ers?
10%.
12.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah, and that's actually lower than what we run for the season, which is only a measly 14%. But I mean, it's just like this team just can't do nothing right. And I tell you what, and it's bad enough my freaking QB1 ain't playing that well. And I mean, I don't this team just I don't even get upset watching these dudes no more. I literally was just watching the game with a straight face. I was just like, that happened. Oh, Dak threw a pick. Oh well. I don't even care anymore. And there's a lot of fans getting that same sentiment. It's just like we just don't care. Everyone's becoming desensitized because Jerry Jones continues to go on these radio shows and say stupid stuff. And the team is not serious about winning. So you don't want to make trades. You've seen all these receivers get traded. You don't want to make a trade. We don't care. And we will see every week, every home game, we're going to see AT&T Stadium packed out with opposing jerseys. And it's going to be your fault, Jerry Jones, because this is the product you think is acceptable to put on this field. And the fans are sick of this crap.
Hey, it's time to boycott. Time to not go to the
I'm
games.
in favor of blowing the team up. I
Mm,
don't think anybody is untradeable on this team if the price is right.
mm. Interesting. It's interesting way of looking things. Uh, but yeah, I don't want to keep you feeling depressed about these Cowboys. I feel like you said enough.
Yeah, forget the Cowboys. Hope they
Let-
go 4-13.
all right, Ken. The Chiefs versus the Chiefs versus the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes actually played well this game for once. He's been struggling a lot, but this game he was really, really good. You know what I'm saying? It was getting to a point where I might have to put him on my fraud watch list. It was getting very scary for a minute there, but he bounced back. DeAndre Hopkins really helped this team because for the first time in a while, I think before this game, Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown a passing touchdown in October.
Nope.
So the addition of DeAndre Hopkins has really helped this offense a lot. And salute to the Chiefs for identifying that and pulling the trigger on the trade. Now they almost
Hmm.
lost to the Raiders, but the Raiders have always played the Chiefs close, so this isn't
Yeah,
too surprising, even
the
with
Raiders
the
are
lack of
scrappy.
talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very scrappy. They're competitive regardless of the talent, and that's because of the coach, Antonio Pierce. He is a prideful guy, and he's going to demand excellence from his players. And they showed up. They competed, but ultimately they lost at the end of the day. And then the last game is the Giants versus the Steelers. I have to say this. Russell Wilson has really impressed me. Now, I didn't watch this game, but what I heard from, he has just been on a tear since he started last week. I gotta give props where it's due because I thought he was pretty much done as a good quarterback in the NFL. I thought he was gonna be a mid quarterback. I thought he was gonna be like a bridge quarterback, one of those like what Teddy Bridgewater was before he became out of the league. Is this guy that he could be a backup. He's a backup or a starter. Like you would want him more as your backup than a starter. But he has been sensational, man. Coaching matters. It seems like this
Hmm.
offense fits him a lot better. 20 for 28 passing, 278 yards passing, and one touchdown, a passer rating of 114.9. He has been tremendous. Like this passing game has opened up ever since he's took over the reins. And George Pickens is playing a lot better. 4 receptions for 70 yards receiving. Like these guys are really getting it going. And Najee Harris, he's starting to run the ball a lot more effectively. I thought he was cooked food, but
Hmm.
he didn't write back. He's like, hey, I'm still good. I was I was great at Alabama for a reason because I was that talented in Alabama, and damn it, I come to Pittsburgh and I'm talented too. You just got to tip your hat on just Russell Wilson, dog. He's been great, and then also Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin did it again for whatever reason. That black magic that he has for winning games, no matter the talent, he's done it again. The defense is great. That Steelers defense is absolutely phenomenal. TJ Watt's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He is just so dominant. But on the Giants side of things, oh my God. I saw a play. There was a clip on Twitter that it was Eli Manning was he pretty much was calling out what Daniel Jones should have done on the play in live television. So like the play was going on and he was like, "Hey, you need to move that tight end." And Daniel Jones didn't because for whatever reason he just didn't. And I think Brian Daboll, he wanted Daniel Jones to move the tight end so that he can
Mm.
block against TJ Watt because you don't want your offensive
Oh.
lineman one-on-one against TJ Watt. And what happened? TJ Watt one-on-one was able to beat the offensive lineman and he sacked Daniel Jones.
Was that the at the end of the game
I think
where it
so.
was the
Yeah.
fumble too? Mm. Yeah, it's Daniel Jones. He
You just can't do it. You can't do it.
when the game got tight, you needed to and he needed to not screw up. I literally put in a group chat. I said, "All right, Daniel Jones, don't do something stupid." and he did something stupid by getting sacked. And it wasn't even his blind side, his weak side either. It was literally he could have literally seen TJ Watt running right at him. He ain't doing anything about it. So it's just yeah. I mean, the Giants played. Honestly, they played better than most people thought. I mean, shoot, Tyrone Tracy. I don't know where this guy came from, but this dude's coming and taking over the run game. He had 145 yards on the ground against this Steelers defense that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, shoot, Darius Slayton had 100 yards. It's just that they couldn't finish.
Couldn't
And
finish.
Daniel Jones not
Yeah,
being the level of QB he should be at this stage of career, especially after that money they gave him, bit him in the butt. And
yeah, pretty much.
and also the amount of flags,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god,
yo, I don't know what it is in Monday night games, but it's just flags galore. And it is
flags
absolutely
galore.
ridiculous to see. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
Steelers, they playing good ball. Russ Wilson did a good job. One thing Russ still does, I just think it's just in his nature at this point. He still runs into sacks. At times
mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh, come on, man, you supposed to get rid of this habit. But Russ played solid in my opinion.
I think the Steelers are number one in the division right now.
Yep, six
Yeah,
and two.
6-2. They look really good right now. So that'll do it for our reactions of week 8. Brian, you know what
Yes,
time it
sir.
is. It's the time of the week
The
where
people's favorite segment.
the salute segment. Brian, who do you want to salute this week for their performances?
All right, for the salute segment, we got 3 people for you. And number 1 on the docket is Kirk Cousins, QB from the Atlanta Falcons, going against a division rival. He already gave him belt one game in the early season, 5 touchdowns. But this, he said, here goes some more for y'all. I got 4 more touchdowns for you. No interceptions, only 6 incomplete passes in the game. Hey, man, he was playing good football against that Tampa Bay, striking while the iron is high. He said, oh, they hurt? Watch this. And he doubled up on them. So salute to Kirk Cousins. Number 2 on the list, we have what the heck is going on? Okay, number 2, my bad. Number 2, we got Jameis Winston making his first start with the
Mm.
Browns against one of the better teams in the AFC North and the AFC in general, the Baltimore Ravens. He said, you know what? You need me to get a game winning drive? I got you. We only down by 1 or 2. Here's a touchdown. Matter of fact, to Cedric Tillman back in the end zone, wide open. Man, Jameis wants to deal what he had to do out there, man, and that's pretty much all you can ask for. He ain't got to be Superman, but shoot, 334 yards. He wasn't far from it. 3 touchdowns. Don't sleep on him. And for the final one, we got to give the tight ends some love. It was National Tight End Day on Sunday, and George Kittle did a number on them Cowboys. 6 catches, 128 yards. He even got a touchdown. It was controversial, but he still got a touchdown. And hey, man, did what he had to do. Debo went out. He said, I had to step up and put the backpack on. And he said, don't worry, I got y'all. I'm sorry Cowboys can't guard me. Yeah, I called him sorry, even though I'm a fan of him. But yeah, those are my 3 salutes. Kirk Cousins, famous Jameis Winston, and Mr. Tight End himself, George Kittle.
I like the list. I really do. It's a good list. I want to give a huge shout out though. I feel like he could have been an honorary salute guy. Josh Jacobs. He had an amazing game against
I
the
was thinking
Jaguars.
about putting him on there. I really was.
But I like the other guys too. I really do. I think they're deserving, so I'm not too mad about that. And but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, another great segment. Another great segment. I want to get to the last topic of the day, and that is picking the game. Thursday night football, the Houston Texans versus the New York Jets. I'm going Houston
No,
Texans on
brother.
this one. Yeah.
Hmm. The Jets are actually favored here.
That's interesting. That's weird.
Yeah, like they're favored -2.
I'm still going with the
Wait, what?
Texans, though. I don't care.
Yeah, the spread is -2 for the Jets. I'm gonna go with the Texans though. The Jets actually. Hmm.
Uh-oh.
If Nico Collins plays, I'm going Texans. If he doesn't play, I'm going Jets.
Do you think he's
This
going
will
to
be
play?
this will be a game time decision I'm gonna make
decision.
here. Yeah.
Got
But
hey,
for now, I'm assume Nico's playing and the Texans are just a better team. I'm gonna go with the Texans.
okay, that's fair. All right, well that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell for all the socials as well. And we will see you all on the next episode of Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching and peace.
Salute.
All right. All right.